Today I'm not going to play the intro as it was a bit more of a somber day, but still inspirational. So welcome to the Daily Think Share. My name's Zach. I'm here to bring to you what I've been thinking about, sharing about, listening to, that I don't have time to teach you math class. If you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe. Today I went to the funeral of a Marine, my wife's second cousin. In fact, I'd like to just take a moment of silence for Benjamin Cross and his life. Thank you. One of the things that I thought was, I don't know if I'd say interesting, but I might actually call it inspiring, was the life that he left behind. I had actually never met him before, but as I was there, I had this experience of so many people paying their respects. Like the entire town knew about him, and as we were in the funeral procession, if you've ever been in one or seen one, it's where a bunch of cars are back to back with their flashers on. And there are people all over the place, at gas stations, at coffee shops, standing outside either saluting or just their hand over their heart as we pass by. I was just thinking of the honor that is brought to our soldiers and our military, and I'm really thankful that I got to experience how much we care, and I think it brought out more of me realizing how much we take for granted the safety that we have from the Army, from our military. One of the things I really took away from today that I told Ben's brother and I told his parents was that despite not meeting him, I felt that he lived the kind of legacy, he left behind the kind of legacy that I would want to leave behind. One of the quotes that they mentioned in the eulogy was that apparently it was an Abraham Lincoln quote. I've also heard this from Jim Rohn, is that it's not about the years in your life. It's not about the amount of time that you spend on earth. It's about the amount of life in your years. And it was really clear talking and hearing about Ben in his life that he might as well have lived multiple lives, like within his time in 26 years. And I think that's something I'm often striving for. One of the things we're listening to on the way up to the funeral and on the way back was the Hamilton soundtrack. And when you listen to that, I think some of the really powerful parts of that soundtrack are when he talks about writing like it's going out of style. Why do you write like you're running out of time? And Hamilton really wanted to leave behind a legacy. He wanted to create something that would outlive him. And at the end of the story, when he dies and he's shot in a duel with Aaron Burr, they have this song about who lives, who dies, who tells your story. And the way that we kind of live, sometimes when I think about afterlife, I think about the idea that the way that you live on, the afterlife is sort of the story that's told about you. Most of us will, our history will not probably make it past 100 years. I don't know what the statistics are, but if you think about the people that don't get talked about anymore, probably it only takes one generation of people to forget about you if you don't make a huge impact. And I think that's one of the things that I really want to leave behind in my life, and that I'm thankful that I got to experience with Ben today, is that he lived an unbelievable life. He was the pilot. You may have actually seen it in the news. He was the pilot of the Osprey that went down, and so it seemed that there was an error in the technology in the vehicle, and he saved I don't remember how many lives it was, but he saved the lives of a bunch of Marines in that vehicle. My last message here is I had this very surreal moment when we were walking away from the funeral after the ceremony, and I had sort of said goodbye. And I know I hadn't known him, but I thanked him for inspiring me and for just by living an example of a life that was encouraging and empowering, that it made a difference for me. But as I was walking away, I had this experience of I started to complain about the fact that I was sweating. I'm wearing this shirt and tie, and I'm wearing some dress pants and dress shoes, and felt the sweat dripping down my leg because we were staying in the sun. It was like 80 or 85 or something. And I realized, wow, I'm complaining about the heat as I walk away from a person that doesn't get to complain anymore. They don't get to live. Like, I should not get to complain about things like that when I still have a life. And so it was a really humbling moment when I realized, I'm walking away from a place that it, I shouldn't even get to complain about anything walking away from a funeral. I shouldn't get to complain about my legs aching from a 3 or 4 hour car ride. I shouldn't get to complain about a 4 hour car ride. I shouldn't get to complain about so many things when I'm still alive, I'm still breathing, and I still have years ahead of me that I get to make a difference in the world and live a life. So I think my real main message here today is consider the people that don't get to live because they've died early in life, or they're the same age and it was ended short, or that have died, and just consider they don't get to live anymore. So maybe we shouldn't complain as much about all the things that are in front of us when we have the opportunity to do something about them, and not complain because we still get to breathe. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. Stay weird.